I'm Lafayette Britto, originally from Brazil, and now I own Lafayette Britto Photography here in Orlando, Florida. I started photographing real estate for a friend of mine, Jonathan Springer. He's a realtor in Central Florida and also a very close friend of mine. One day I was joking around and I asked him, I was like, when are you going to let me photograph one of your properties? And so eventually, he gave me a property to photograph, and he's stuck with me till today. It doesn't matter the size of the property, the price of the property. I've always photographed every single one of his listings. We've done properties all the way down to Miami. Sometimes, me and him, he'll call me, he'll be like, hey, I have a listing down in Miami, want to take a day off and head down. And today I'm actually photographing for multiple builders. I've photographed for quite a few realtors in Central Florida as well, and hoping to get more into the more commercial setup. For real estate, for an interior designer, it's almost the same, but you're in 100% control of it, right? I'm being put in a house, in a location where I can adjust the setup, where you don't have full control of lighting. So that's a little bit different, which makes it, I guess, not a little bit easier, but it is easier at some point. But they're both challenging. I like a challenge, so it depends. Sometimes you get the curveballs. The passion with photography started with my own cars. Back in high school, we used to modify them and go to all these car shows. Eventually I picked up a camera and started photographing my own car. And from there, people are like, oh, let's get a group together, let's photograph our cars. So then we would go to different locations and take pictures. I would do the whole crazy angles, almost upside down, twisted. So then my passion slowly started growing. I started attending more and more events and shooting cars. I started shooting cars for different companies that would ask me to do for pictures for wheels, body kits, suspension. It got me to where I am today. The approach to getting a car shoot set up is basically you want to see what the client wants. You got to see what the client needs. Depending on if I'm photographing for a wheel company, if I'm photographing for a carbon fiber company, or if I'm photographing some engine parts. Depending on what I'm highlighting, then we go through and we choose a location where we want to match the car and we want to match the feel of the car. So if I'm shooting a luxury vehicle, you want to kind of match the city vibes, because that's more than likely where you will see a luxury car, somebody taking somebody out to dinner. So you have to kind of match the vibe of the shoot with the vibe that you're going for. A lot of post-processing goes behind it to get to the final image. Depending on the location, you have to get permits, sometimes you don't have time to pull permits, depending on how big of a shoot it is. What motivates me is to always do better. I watch all these different photographers grow into shooting commercial automotive, and that motivates me to do better at what I do, to get to that point. So motivation is just really, myself staying focused on the work and trying to get there. I've been renting from the lens bow for, I want to say a good 3-4 years, if not more than that. And anything I ever need, I can get it. Whether I'm gone for 2 weeks, going out to Vegas, or if I need something for 1 day or for 2 days because I misplaced something or I broke something or I don't have it right now. They've always helped me. I mean, it's what kept me afloat. What I love most is capturing moments. I photographed from cars to weddings, and for me, it's been just capturing that moment and providing the client with an image of either what they built, of a special moment in their life, or a professional photo that might get them somewhere, in the business world. That's going to get them so far in their career that they'll always have that to remember.